This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
Well, I had to get that. I like the boom sound. Hey, how's everybody doing? Oh, there's Chloe up there, a little exercise ball there. Looks like she's about to fall asleep. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, so tonight we got, there's a Daily Mail article on Kohberger, and then we're going to do Cassandra Rhines, because it's sort of the short one. And then Alicia, now it's, I don't know if it's like Atrium. But that's actually Cali Gal 3's daughter's been missing since 1994, and she didn't said there wasn't very much. I found a few articles out there, so we'll go over that, and then you know, maybe do phone calls, or I don't know, whatever you guys feel like doing. But another freak. Thank you, Julia. I didn't realize that, I mean, I think that's sort of what's cool about what we do here, is we cover so many cases that, you know, I hear from different family members and so forth, and probably some people join here because they like the fact that we, you know, despite suffering in views and likes and super chats and everything, you know, I cover the cold cases. From other, you know, that aren't popular or famous or anything like that. Like 2 nights in a row now, we've covered cases that nobody on here has ever heard of. I have, Gray. I remember this one time. Okay, good for you. But they're not popular whatsoever. I don't know if she's in here or not, but I asked if she wanted me to, and she said, yep. Oh, yeah. Hello, Philip Harless. And right now we're on the 13th of the month, almost at the halfway point. I was thinking of making another donation tonight. You know, I guess all the stories tonight. Maybe tonight's a good one to do rain, and then I'll do the Wounded Warriors again during our donation night at the end of the month, to get that up to, maybe try to get that up to 1,000, and you know, maybe hit rain a little bit later. I guess we'll have to see how it goes.
I'm tired of it not
Hello, 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 Jet, hey, hello, Tina, hello, Wibbles, hello, Charisma, hello, Jim Bino, hello, Georgina, hello. Yeah. Wow, Scouting Dude, jeez. Thank you. And Cali Gal 3, I was actually able to find a few different stories out there. Articles on it, especially back at the beginning. And then over the years, there was a few of them. Cali Gal 3. Thank you, K-Me. And also, Scout Dude. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Welcome to the freak family. Yep. So, I mean, the order I'm going to do this in is going to just go over that article on Kohberger, then, well, you know what I could do is, well, yeah, I'll do Kohberger first, just to get it out of the way. Not the hello auctioneer. Yep. hello. Yeah, don't feel obligated to say, when somebody says hello, to say hello to every single person who said hello.
For what you do for others.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Did you hear that, everybody? Mr. L said, "Can I please get a large Coke and fries with my Kohberger?" Yes. Okay. So here we go. We've got it's funny because it's so stupid, you know? That's why it's funny. It's like, can I get a Coke and like a Kohberger? You know, you make a joke with the co sound in Coke. I'll have a co and a burger. I got a Kohberger, you know. Let me have a co and a burger. Isn't it Coke? Oh, I get it, Coke. Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, here it is. Oh, she's still out there, huh? Searing new insights into Bryan Kohberger. Let me get over to the where you can actually see it. Jail life, as told DailyMail.com by his fellow inmates. He obsesses over TV coverage of his own case. Has turned to God. Oh, yeah. Don't they all do that? I mean, even Ed Kemper, the guy that had sex with skulls or heads of people, he turned to God, and God turned his back on him. No, he wouldn't, Gray, as long as he... Oh, no. God does not... I know that people believe this. If they're, like if you believe in God and you believe that God forgives people like Dahmer and Kohberger and all those types, then there's something wrong with you. Okay? Or how about this? There's nothing wrong with you, but I don't want a God like that. I don't want a God that goes, well, as long as you accept that my son was the Lord and Savior, you're okay. You can go ahead and chop people's heads off. You can do whatever the hell you want. You're all good. No way, man. That doesn't make any sense to me. There is no forgiveness for that. All right? What do you mean, Gray? Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not for you to judge, but I don't want to be part of a God that would allow people like Bundy, Dahmer, Kemper, all those guys, a second shot just because they went, you know what, I'm changed now. Forget it. Okay? And I'm sure that was offensive what I just said to somebody. It's everything I say is always offensive to somebody. It doesn't matter what I say. It's bothersome to some, And then they end up leaving out of anger. Oh, God, did you hear Gray? Did you hear him? He didn't think God would let Bundy and Dahmer have a second chance. What a bastard he is. Well, that's sue me, okay? That's what I think. Yeah, here we go. Bryan Kohberger is obsessed with following his own case from behind bars and has now found God, everybody. And I tell you what, I mean, I think as soon as you hand them the Bible and they found God, we should just let them go. Shit, I mean, don't you believe that as soon as they have the Bible and they're following it now, we should just let them go? As a matter of fact, I've said this before, we should get rid of our jail system immediately. Okay? We should get rid of our jail systems immediately, and upon arrest, hand them a Bible, and if they just promise to read a few verses every day, we could just let them back out on the streets, right? Because they would be completely changed at that one moment, right? I mean, I think everybody believes in that. I mean, forget the jail system, man. Just hand out Bibles. It'll fix the whole thing. Yeah, there's no barbarians out there. It was just their lack of reading. All right, here we go. Bryan Kohberger is obsessed with following his own case from behind bars and has now found God attending Mass every Sunday, sources say. DailyMail.com spoke with current and former inmates, as well as jail sources, to discuss Kohberger's time at the jail. Among the revelations are that Kohberger gets daytime access to a television and likes to flip on the news to follow coverage of his own case. He watches himself all the time, one inmate told DailyMail.com. It's really kind of bizarre. The accused quadruple murderer, who has been locked up without bail at the Latah County Jail since early January, steps out of his cell around 7 p.m. on Sunday to meet with a local pastor who leads him in prayer. Okay. He sits down with the pastor and receives his own private mass, a source inside the jail said. It's just the two of them, and no, I have no idea what they might talk about. Well, I think we should waterboard the pastor now and see what he's told him. Has he confessed to the murders? Did you hear Gray? He wants to waterboard a pastor. They've outlawed waterboarding a long time ago. Remember Kid Mo? Yeah. We remember. It was a joke. It was a joke, everybody. It wasn't serious at all, okay? By all accounts, the 28-year-old has been a model prisoner, a jail official tells DailyMail.com. This despite facing taunts from inmates who sometimes shout at him as he shuffles past their cells. When one inmate named Tyson called him the B word, at the accused murder during a recent weekday, Kohberger barely flinched, turning towards him with a menacing stare without breaking stride as he proceeded down the hall, according to one inmate who watched it happen. He always has the same expression, or non-expression, said one inmate, who met with a DailyMail.com reporter in the jail. He just looks straight ahead. I've never even seen his eyebrows or mouth move. You haven't seen his eyebrows move? That's like not seeing the Titanic sink. Man, I crack myself up sometimes, you know. I don't know what it is. Let's see. Don't you think it's pretty funny? I like that they actually point out that they didn't see his eyebrows move. Kohberger spends most of his time alone in a private cell kept apart from other inmates who share cells. He rarely, if ever, chats with jailmates who typically only see him when he walks past them. They say he maintains a steely stare when he steps out to meet his lawyers or to visit the library, and that he always flanked by several correction officers who escorts him wherever he goes. The jail houses a couple dozen inmates in a sprawling basement directly underneath the Latah County Courthouse and Sheriff's Office near downtown Moscow. Opaque windows to some of the cells face a quiet side street located just 1/4 mile from the rental home where the 4 University of Idaho students were slaughtered during the pre-dawn hours of November 13th. Police arrested Kohberger, a PhD, I mean this is all stuff we know, but a PhD student in criminology at nearby Washington State University in Pullman on December 30th. He's been without bail in the Moscow jail since January 4th, spending his next court hearing on June 26th. The case could get him the death penalty. I hope he gets the death penalty, inmate Harrison Papillon said. I'd be shocked if he didn't. Latah jail officials remain tight-lipped about Kohberger's time behind bars. One official told DailyMail.com that Kohberger's been well behaved during his time there with no incidents. The officials also pointed out, well, he's been reading the Bible though, so pointed out that Kohberger's strict vegan dietary needs are being met by the vendor that prepares meals for prisoners. But despite his quiet demeanor, inmates say they're well aware of the gruesome crime he's accused of carrying out. They follow the case intently on the news and discuss their infamous fellow inmate daily. I've been reading about the whole case since it started and knew he was in there, said recently released inmate Kyler Leddit. It's disturbing that something like that can happen in my hometown. I'm just happy I wasn't in the same cell as his. God, could you imagine having to go to sleep at night with this sucker in there? Man, I'd want him handcuffed. I've only seen him a few times, he added. He was wearing orange sweats and orange t-shirt. Well, yeah, that's what you guys wear. With 2 guards accompanying him wherever he needs to go. Let it describe the jail as cold and disgusting. He shared a cell with 5 people who get access to an adjoining day room where they could watch TV, eat, shower, and walk. We'd always talk about the fact he was in the same jail with us, Leddit told DailyMail.com. Nobody liked the guy. I could tell you that. There's a lot of hatred, but we were in awe of him. Nothing like that really happened around Moscow. It shocked a lot of people. Papillon said he tried to get intel about Kohberger's time in jail, but that the officers there don't share much of anything. He's only about 30 feet from my cell, he said. It's truly crazy. I can't believe I'm in here and one of the most infamous mass murderers in the United States. So there you go. Well, that's the information, you guys. He was in prison with... I hope he gets this. This is one of the prisoners, I guess. And look at, they've got boarded up windows. I think they're tearing this thing down pretty soon. And thanks, Sarah. And also, if you guys would like to help support the channel, I know we just got started here, but if you'd like to help support the channel with the super chats and PayPal and whatnot, I'm going to be sending out some more notebooks tomorrow. So if anybody wants to get in on the shipment, send 25 to PayPal. You get the notebook and the 2 freak pens, a red and a black one, and they're good quality notebooks. They have a strap on it, and well, here it is right here. See, boom, and even has the like a strap that you can put on it, and it keeps it shut, like most notebooks might have. Yeah. Thanks, Cali Gal 3. Yeah, they're pretty sweet, huh? I'm gonna get the next one I order is gonna be have the red on the as the black, and then it'll be back to that tan color in the middle. I think those are cool too. They're the natural color. So, how about let's just do? I'm gonna do the rain donation right now. So if you guys want to help the channel out, that'd be great, but I'm going to send it in regardless. Mary Crossley. Thank you. Chewbacca. There it is. All right. Is that the dogs? They're not. I have to do something to get them on the screen. Not sure. Welcome, Philip, Harless, and Eugenie. Okay, RAIN is a organization that's violence against women. They also test backlog of rape kits as well, so they kind of do everything. And so here we go. We're going to send in this 500. And I'm going to go over here before it signs in. All right, and complete it. And there we go. All right, so there's the thank you for supporting RAIN, and there's the 500 right there. And then I'll show you the email that came in just for the trolls out there. It's always the same guy, Scott from RAIN here. Here we go, right there. And there's the email with the thank you for the gift of $500 to RAIN. Without supporters like you, we could not do our life-saving work to answer the call for survivors of sexual violence. And without supporters like you guys, I wouldn't be able to do these kinds of amounts. And you guys are also supporting my channel at the same time, so it's awesome. As the nation's largest anti-sexual violence organization, RAIN operates the National Sexual Assault Hotline, which has helped more than 3.7 million survivors and their loved ones. We are extremely grateful for your generosity, which helps our hotline remain free and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Every 68 seconds, another American is sexually assaulted. Your support helps us make a true difference for these survivors on their road to recovery. Thank you for your kindness and your gift. So thank you, freaks, for supporting me and allowing me to do it. And there it is again, the 500, and boom. All right. So what we're going to do is now we're going to update our numbers. Let's see. All right, so now since January 2020, done $139,750, which is almost sounds ludicrous. And then 13,000 this year so far. And hold on. And then RAIN. Oops. Just got to update the Chiron thing. And now RAIN is 2,000. Alright, so the one Texas Sec, yeah, so that's cool now. Micmac, RAIN, and Texas EquiSearch all have 2,000. Alright. So there we go. We have, hey, thank you, Dan Hodemaker, or Hodemaker. All right. Awesome. So it's 1,000 so far this month. And, we are one of the few YouTube channels out there that actually make a difference. It's not, there's people that say, oh, yeah, I'm covering Kohberger every second of every day for 2 months straight and all the big cases over and over and over. And they're really not doing anything for anybody at all. They're just getting a lot of views and subs and, maybe they're giving a fun place to hang out or something, but there's no actual tangible difference making going on. We do. So that's what I'm proud of here. So thank you very much. And thank you, Tosh and Matthew Ludovico. All right. So let me get rid of this. Not sure what this is right here. What is this little? Let me see what that was supposed to be. Zoom. Oh, that's a Zoom guest. All right, turn that off. All right, now we're going to do this shorter one here of Cassandra Rhines, and here's a picture of her. Let's see the order. Yeah, so I think that one needs to be second. I did find an article with her in the newspaper in 2015. And so she was a missing person, but I couldn't find anything from the time she went missing in 1985. Okay, so we're looking at 30 years later. So right here it says Cassandra Rhines never made it to her granddaughter's birthday party in Minneapolis. Nearly 3 decades later, authorities say that they now believe she was killed and her body was left in an isolated part of a state park on Lake Superior. With the help of modern DNA analysis and samples provided by Rhines' family, scientists with the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension announced Wednesday that they had identified her skeletal remains and that they are launching a homicide investigation. We're looking for any information about her disappearance and who she may have been with, who she had contact with, who her friends may have been, because we just don't know a lot about her and her life at that time. Yeah, and that's sad, right? Because when she went missing, obviously people didn't care enough to do really good reports and try to figure things out. Now, Ryan's remains were found in Gooseberry Falls State Park, and I couldn't find the original finding of those, but it was found by a off-duty Lake County Sheriff's Office employee, so maybe they kept it under wraps. Her skull appeared to have been damaged, leading authorities to believe that Rhines was the victim of a homicide. Rhines was 19 when she went missing in June of 1985, so she was found 30 years later in the woods. She was last heard from when she called a friend to confirm that she would go to her goddaughter's party in Minneapolis. Rhines lived in an apartment complex at 2700. Let's go to that. Where is it? Yeah, 2700. It's in Minneapolis. I think right here in this apartment. This is where she lived at the time. This was Grand Avenue South near Whitaker Park in Minneapolis. Authorities said they want to hear from anyone who lived in the area at the time and may who have information helpful to the investigation. Investigators believe Rhines may have been involved in as a sex worker and may have worked as an exotic dancer. They also believe that she may have been living with a man and are seeking help to identify him. BCA scientists, well, that explains why they didn't do anything at the time. BCA scientists were able to obtain a full, or two different reasons. Her race and that she was a sex worker probably made it so that when she went missing, they really just wouldn't have cared at all. I mean, it sucks, but you know, I mean, there wasn't one article that I could find from 85 on until 2015 when they found bones and they identified her. BCA scientists were able to obtain a full genetic profile from the remains and enter the information into a national missing person DNA database. Bryan's DNA was matched to that of family member who had provided DNA to the BCA in 2013. Interesting. And another family member who provided DNA for further testing. One family's decision to come forward was key to the successful identification of these skeletal remains, said Catherine Knutson. The BCA has campaigned for family members of long missing Minnesotans to step forward to investigators, or so investigators can conduct DNA comparisons. Forensic scientists started using DNA to test remains in about 2000, in the year 2000, but in the past few years, DNA extraction and testing capabilities have become more sensitive so that scientists can, and this was 2015, it's exponentially better now. DNA, let's see, so it said, DNA extraction and testing capabilities have become more sensitive so that scientists can derive DNA from old remains even if they are in poor condition. The forensic technology gets us to the starting point in this case, Evans said, but he added that the public tips are what could help solve the case. Anyone with information about Rhines is asked to contact the Lake County Sheriff's Office at 218-834-8385 or the BCA at 651-793-7000. Those numbers might still be good since that was 2015. And then I think this is a story from, well, March 13th. It was from today, so it's not solved or anything. It's just, Cassandra Rhines was 19 when she went missing. She was last heard from in June of 1985 when she called a friend to confirm that she would be attending her goddaughter's birthday party. In May of 2014, an off-duty Lake County Sheriff's Office deputy was training his dog in a remote, heavily wooded area in Gooseberry Falls State Park when he discovered the skeletal remains of a Minneapolis woman who had been missing for nearly 3 decades. Yeah. So, I mean, this is where she lived, right here, right? And then way up here, 200 miles away, it's absolutely crazy in this park over here. And thank God a family member gave DNA, because so here's Gooseberry Falls State Park. I mean, I don't know how big the park is. It looks like it might be pretty massive. And look how remote this place is. I mean, it is just woods, very thick. And so she was found in this area. And look at, there's some 360-degree images. Let's see what it looks like. This is on top of a hill. So look how wooded and thick this place is. This is on a power line area, look like. Oh, cool. Look at that. Looks like a river over here. Kind of cool looking. But yeah, just way out in this remote area here. That's where she was found. In May of 2014, an off-duty Lake County Sheriff's Office deputy was training his dog, and then he came upon her remains. Cassandra Rhines was 19 years old when she went missing. She lived in an apartment building at 2700 Grand Avenue South in Minneapolis, near Whittier Park. Let me just make sure. Yeah, that's probably Whittier Park right there, right? I mean, yep. Cassandra Rhines was 19 years old when she went missing. She lived in an apartment building at 2700 Grand Avenue South in Minneapolis, near Whittier Park. Rhines was last heard from in June of 1985 when she called a friend to confirm that she would be attending her goddaughter's birthday party. There's a picture of her here, too. And there's one as well. She never showed up at the party and was not seen or heard from again. Law enforcement were able to identify the remains through advanced DNA technology that was available at the time of her disappearance. DNA was extracted from the skull and linked to a sample provided in late 2013 by Rhines' sister. In 2013, I mean, that was weird because that was before remains were even found, so that means for some reason, maybe somebody said, hey, you should put your DNA in the database or something. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension began asking family members of long-missing Minnesotans to submit DNA samples. The remains were sent to St. Louis County Medical Examiner's Office, and forensic anthropologists analyzed the skull, determining that Rhines suffered from blunt force trauma injuries. During a news conference in 2015, officials released a photograph of Rhines with a man whose identity was unknown. Investigators believe the man had been living with her, and they hope to question him. Information from tips led investigators to identify the man as Donald McSwain. It was confirmed that he was living with Rhines at the time of her disappearance. However, he was dead. Tips also led to, let's see if he's been verified up here. Thanks, Tosh. Oops. Donald McSwain. Minneapolis. Was it Donald? Yeah, he's not even in there. Tips also led to the identity of a friend who worked with Rhines, who was working as an exotic dancer at the time of her disappearance, which was verified by multiple sources. However, it's unclear if her job played a role in her death. Investigators tracked down Rhines' friend and found that she had also died. Jeez. Law enforcement is still working to identify Rhines' killer, but they have hit multiple dead ends.
DNA.
Yep, DNA. Yep. DNA. Sergeant Tim Luma, Lake County Sheriff's Office, lead investigator on the case, said they have run into many instances where there were people they would like to interview regarding the case, but who are now dead. Unfortunately, we've kind of hit a dead end with people that would still be alive. That means they're dead, like I mean, she would have only been 50-something, like my age, really. Almost exactly the same age. All those people who would have liked to talk to were part of a partying lifestyle back then, which has kind of led to a shorter lifespan than anticipated. Luoma said he has the case file on his desk and looks at it every day in hopes that something will pop up and he can get closer to giving her few remaining family members closure. We just don't really have any more leads to follow, Luoma said. It remains unclear if Rhines had been in Lake County or the Twin Ports area before her death. Investigators are speculating that she was already dead when her body was left in the park. I mean, that makes sense. There did not appear to be any serious attempt to conceal the body other than with some brush. After nearly 30 years, the remains were reduced to scattered bones and some clothing materials. Hey, thank you, Kathy Frydenmaker and the legend, Scott Holland. Hey, Scott Holland, I played around yesterday. Here, I'll just finish this really quick. So after 30 years, the remains were reduced to scattered bones and some clothing material. There it is, the UFO. The search was complicated in 2014 because the ground was still frozen and partially snow-covered after one of the harshest winters in record. Good evening, Goat of True Crime Investigators. Thank you for the service and all you do to crime. For the true crime. Hope your golf. Yeah, it was not too bad. I had 2 birdies. There has been no recent development in the case. Foreign News Service confirmed on March 8th. Anyone with information about Cassandra Rhines is asked to contact the Lake County Sheriffs at 218-834-8385. And yep, same number. And, yeah, wow. I mean, it's crazy how there's cases like that. I mean, if they hadn't stumbled upon her bones, there'd be zero closure whatsoever. And I think there's a lot of people like that. And, in fact, I think Cali Gal 3 is sort of in a similar... She's in the situation that her family members, that Ryan's family members were in prior to 2015. Sort of a constant state of limbo. Yeah, they're all dead now because I think they did drugs and it's just. So there's Scott Holland. Thank you very much. Yeah, I walked my first round of golf in a long time, other than Bandon Dunes. And so I have an electric cart though. It's cool. You can just send it out with my clubs, and I just walk. And my legs feel great, but my lower back's a little stiff. But I started off really bad. It was like bogey, 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 double bogey, and then all of a sudden I went birdie, birdie, and then a bogey or something. I mean, I ended up shooting a 40 on the par 35 front after the horrendous start, and then I was only 2 over on the entire back 9. And so the par 71 ended up shooting a 78, even after that horrendous start. I thought I was in for a bad day. Could have shot better, too. Now, it's just a push cart where it has these electronic motor. There's these really sweet carts called Click Gear. And they're really good carts, but somebody made an adapter where you put these wheels on the back, and you put these little, you have to put these little things on the cart itself, and then it attaches, and then it has this controller. It goes, you can go wherever you want, up hills, sideways. Oh, that'd be sweet, Scott. Yeah. So there you go. I did get 2 birdies. I had a shot at like 4 actually, but I didn't make those other 2. They weren't far there. They're less than 10 feet. Maybe McSwain didn't want her to go home to see the... I don't think so, Susan. I mean, that sounds so trivial for somebody to kill somebody. Very cool. My whole town is surrounded by courses. Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm great. I mean, I'm probably better than, average people who just go out and hack the ball around and stuff, but I mean, I'm just probably like a 7 or 8 handicap or something. I didn't get to watch much of the Players' Championship. I feel kind of weird, Yeah. But anyways, I'm going to get on to Cali Gal 3's daughter's case. I didn't even know. I mean, I wonder how many freaks are in here that actually have family members that are missing or... Yeah. Lanky Tor, 38 months. I'm trying to say months. It's starting to roll off a little bit better. Yeah, it's not too bad. All right, well, Caligal3 sent me an email the other day and just gave me a short description and said there wasn't much really out there, but I was able to find some stuff. Let me see what article this one is. Yeah, I don't know if I need to start with that one. I was able to find some articles and some where she's actually talking, being interviewed in the articles. How weird is that? I mean, it's not weird, but it's just kind of cool in a way, like one of the freaks in the paper talking. I don't know if I have specific addresses. I'll have to go see if they're in the article, though. I think it was in Napa, California area. So probably somewhere around in here. Alright, here we go. Police join in search for missing Napa woman. Police have joined the search. This is on 1994, March 5th. And if you don't have any of these, Caligal 3, I'll send them over to you. Police have joined the search for a local artist missing since she went for a walk on Brown Street in South Napa. Let's see where that is. Brown Street. I mean, who knows how accurate some of this stuff is, but wasn't too far away from... Is this one Brown right here? Hold on. So this is Brown, and it keeps going, so we don't really know exactly where on Brown. Well, let's put a pin on Brown Street for now. A pin on Brown Street. And you guys try to pay attention to this story because it was for one of the freaks, okay? Great, you said we could just talk about whatever we wanted and you wouldn't... Well, let's make this one that you listen to what I'm saying, okay? Police have joined the search for a local artist missing since she went for a walk on Brown Street in South Napa Sunday night. Or Napa. Alicia... Now, can you type in how to pronounce the name? How do you pronounce... Yeah, but that doesn't... I need the address. Caligal 3. Maybe it'll show up somewhere in here. How do you pronounce... Is it Atrium? Like, almost like where you look at plants. Just type it in Alicia. No, not that name, the last name. I know the other one's Alicia, right? I mean, Atrium. Okay. Atrium. She was 21. She was 21. Was last seen by a friend whose apartment she left at about 9:15 p.m. Sunday, according to police reports. Police said there was no reason to suspect foul play, but the woman's family is very concerned. Relatives said she may be in need of prescribed medication. And let's see. What did you say again? Let me try to remember. Atrium. Wow, Scouting Dude. Jeez. Thank you so much. It's not, it's weird how it's not orange. There it is, though. There it is. Crime sector is my nectar. Freaking nectar. Animals gonna be a nectar. Who does nectar? Interceptor. That's too much words. Too many words. What's the troll thing, Matthew? Don't get it. Alright. So she left her friend's apartment at 9:15. Don't know where that is, according to police reports. Police said there was no... Well, let's see. When you say she lived near the river, so does Brown Street keep going? So it doesn't keep going that way. Does it keep going over here, though? Yeah, that's Brown. That's still Brown Street. It doesn't really ever run into the river, unless it's this creek over here. Could it be like these apartments? I don't know. I mean, Brown Street's right there, and there's a creek, but Brown Street doesn't really go near the water right next to it, if that's what you're saying. It does go to here, so that's kind of near there, I guess. But where the hell is that one I was just looking at? Police said there was no reason to suspect foul play, but the woman's family is very concerned. Relatives say she may be in need of prescribed medication. Atrium, who works part-time at downtown Napa gift shop, currently has some of her paintings on display at Folk Gallery on Main Street. Oh, cool. What kind of painting did she do? She attended Justin Siena High School for 3 years. She later transferred and graduated from Vintage High School. She lives with her mother in Napa. And that's Cali Gal 3. Y and Combe Street? Okay. It doesn't have, what do you mean, Y Street, Napa? There isn't one. I don't see it. Okay, Brown and Combs. Let's do that. Brown and Combs Street. Okay. That's not it. Where is Combe Street? I didn't spell Combe right, I don't think. It's Coombs Street. Okay. And Coombs goes that way, turns. There's Brown. And then kind of goes. Well, it's weird because Brown's right there, and then Coombs is right here. So I don't know if they ever really intersect somewhere. So maybe over in this area somewhere. I don't know. Maybe over here. Not sure what's going on with this thing. I can't see the bottom of it for some reason. It's not letting me. There it is, finally. Is it in that area? Hey, thanks, D Smiles. Is that the right spot? Coombs and because Brown Street's right there and Coombs is here. I think he said Combs, but I don't. It doesn't. Apartment on Y and Combs. I think it's Coombs. And when you say Y, do you mean like the Y Street or? I don't see a Y Street anywhere. Can you help me out with that? Sorry, we have like, there's such a long delay, it's kind of, well, it kind of isn't good enough for me, so we're going to need to, no, she didn't say that, Cindy J. Okay, now you're saying that it makes a Y. now you're saying that, but it doesn't say that up above, it just says, oh, the next comment, you made another comment below that. Okay, so Brown, what street makes a Y? Coombe. So I go. I don't see any. Coombs doesn't make a Y. So just try to get me the actual address. Okay. It just doesn't make any sense. It just goes straight as an arrow. There isn't a Y or anything like that. Brown Street's right over here. I'm just going to do this story. At the end, if you want to get me the exact address, that'd be cool. I'm just waiting around takes too long. So, all right. She attended Justin Siena High School for 3 years. She later transferred and graduated from Vintage High School. She lives with her mother in Napa. Atrium is 5'6", 110 pounds, 115, and has brown hair and blue eyes. When last seen, she was wearing a gold jacket, tan pants, and a t-shirt. Anyone with information is asked, well, this is too long ago, 1994, so get a hold of the Napa Police Department. And that was March 5th, and then there was another article on March 17th. No new leads in search. Police said today they have followed several potential leads but still have no idea of the whereabouts of a Napa woman missing since she went for a walk the evening of February 27th. Elisha Eittreim was last seen as she left a friend's home. Now we got 500 block of Brown Street. So let's see where that is. 500 Brown Street. So that's way over here. Oh, so Brown comes around. That's where it would Y. That's like a T, though. Is that what you're talking about, right here? I mean, it makes a T here. Is that it? No, you don't see the Y. Is it right here? Makes a point of division comes brown. I don't know what that means. I don't know what. Makes a point of division combs brown by river. Is that girl code? I mean, right here is brown. This is 5th Street.
Makes a point of division combs brown by river.
Yeah, no, they're all streets. What does that mean? Those are all streets. Yeah, yep. I need like, so when we're doing this, you got to be really clear, okay? Like, what intersection is the apartment complex at? You know, like, yeah, I see right here. There's 5th, Brown. Right here, there's a T here. It's not a Y. You know, Y would go off like that. This is a T. And then it stops there, and then Brown Street's there, and then Coombe Street's right there. And then Brown, I thought continued. Yeah, and then somehow it continues again over here. It's weird. It's like it just continues on way farther away. That's not what she said, though, Nikki Zibs. Unless you guys understand. Okay, there's Brown Street and Division. Okay. So that makes like a, I guess like that if you're considering that a Y. So right in this area. Oh God, Cindy, Jesus, you just keep acting like you were just ridiculous. All right. And is the apartment right here or this building right there? So anyways, it was right in this area, right? Yes, Cindy, that's the Y you were looking at. Yeah, that's... That's weird because Brown Street up here doesn't do anything. I mean, so I guess it continues again at a different spot. Because there's Brown, unless that's Brown. Is this Brown? No, that's Main. See, then Brown disappears for a while, and then it picks back up again, back over in this area. Kind of a confusing. We do the same thing here in Portland. Like, I live on Nebraska Street, and there's a Southwest Nebraska, you know, like way 3 miles away is another part of the street, even though they're not connected whatsoever. Brown, Division, Brown Street, Division, and Coombs. Intersection of Brown, Coombs, and Division. Well, this is Brown, that's Division, but where's Coombs? Coombs is right there. So it's Coombs, Division. Well, it can't be what you're saying because there's Coombs, Division, and Brown. So maybe it's in here, but it's not. There's no intersection of those three. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But thank you. You get what I'm saying? Can you see what I'm looking at? Coombs Street, Division, Brown. They're not intersecting. I mean, what would be better is just to have the address. You know, just Oh yeah, she lived at 417 Northeast. Okay.
Chewbacca?
Like,
I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
Intersection of
Well, that
Brown
looks
and Kearns
by
and
along the
Patchett
river.
Street. I will see if I can find address.
Riverside, Brown Street, Riverside, Brown. Yeah, if you can find the address, that'd be great. But let me just keep moving on here. Yeah, so we did that one. Then another article, 1994 here. Yeah, just the address would probably be best at this point. Thank you. Perhaps because Elisha Eittreim is a young adult and remembered by many school friends,
Okay, Riverside Street.
her case has been especially talked about throughout the community. Recently, false rumors had the 21-year-old a victim of violence. The source of the rumor was traced to the discovery of a pig's carcass in a grocery store's dumpster. The caller thought a body was in the dumpster and called police. Atrium was last seen when she went for a Sunday walk February 27th. She remains missing. Relatives told the Register the missing woman had health problems and needs medication. Although posters with a color photo of her smiling and wearing a pearl necklace were distributed throughout Napa, or I think it's Napa, I keep saying Napa, and the western United States, all leads have led nowhere. Some of the posters were mistakenly removed by people who heard the false rumor and thought the case was closed, the relative said. Police said Atrium left a friend's home in the 500 block of Brown Street. So now we know where this is. Let me go back to 500 Brown Street. So it's not too far from apparently where she lived, right? And where's 600? Yeah, I mean, so that person lived right in the same, I'll just say friend lived here. About 9:30, the night of February 27th. So it's February 27th, 1994. She told a friend she was going to walk back home. Oh, well, now we know that she lives on 800 Patchett in that area. So hold on, 800 Patchett Street. So the friend that she was visiting was in that Y section. She lived on Patchett Street, and they say 800, so where's 900? So she lived in one of these homes right here. That's what this article is saying. So she lived here. That's why it makes more sense that they don't live right next to where she visited the friend. I mean, like, literally lived here. Okay, and then, so the friend, forget this, I'm going to get rid of this. The friend lived in this area where I think that might be what she was thinking, was that the friend that she visited lived on Brown Street, but she lived here. So from here to there, she went missing. I don't know if it's that far. Less than probably a mile at the most, I would imagine. No, it's 0.66 miles. It's not far at all. It's like a 8-minute walk or something. So she left a friend's home in the 800 block of Brown Street about 9:30, and in the 500 block. So she leaves here at, let's get that in there. So 9:30 p.m. Friends. Let's see. Friend's house. And then she leaves. She never arrived at her mother's home. So she lived with you, right? Cali Gal 3? Do you still live in the same house? And if you don't, maybe you can say the exact, like if you don't live there anymore, you could say the same house. I mean, if you still live there, forget it. I mean, don't do it. I mean, I'm sure I could look it up myself, but I'm just going to wait for her reply. Okay, so what's the address of that house? If you don't live there, you probably remember it, right? Well, although that was a long time ago. 30 years ago. Sorry for the long pauses, you guys. I'm just following along. Well, there you go. That makes sense. That's probably right. Yeah, almost exactly where I had it. How about I'll go down to the ground and you can tell me if you recognize it or not. That house? That look familiar to you? Right there. Okay, and then she was at a friend's house. Yeah, this is one of those weird ones where somebody just disappears. Sergeant Randy Brownman said investigators have been unable to verify reported sightings of a woman matching her description in Napa and several other communities, including San Francisco. Atrium had most recently worked part-time at a downtown Napa gift shop. She's 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighs 118 pounds, has short blonde hair and green eyes. When last seen, she was wearing a gold jacket and white or tan pants and a t-shirt. Anyone with information can get a hold of the Napa Police Department. Was that the house? The one I had on the screen? Cali Gal 3? That's all I wanted to know. Yes or no for that one. Okay. All right, then 1995, February 26th, there's another article. It says Elisha Eittreim was last seen about 9:30 p.m., February 27th, 1994, near Brown and Division Streets. I guess we could have just waited a little bit and read that. Because she was last seen at her friend's house. That's why they say that. Here's a description. 22 years old, 5 feet 6, 110 to 115 pounds, light brown hair, wearing a gold jacket, white or tan pants, and t-shirt. If you have any information, call the... there's Sharon in the article there. Let's see. Napa for Sharon Lancaster and Rick Atrium. The past year has been a living hell. Their 22-year-old daughter went for an evening walk the night of February 27, 1994, and has not been seen since. Friends told police Elisha Eittreim planned to walk the 12 blocks from a friend's house near Brown and Division Streets to her mother's residence on Patchett. I know that Alicia didn't walk out of this town on her own accord, Lancaster told the Register from her 8th Street office. Brightly colored paintings created by her only daughter cover one wall of the office. A Bible has prominent place on a glass-top coffee table. The year-long agony has taken its toll. I lost 25 pounds, she said. I dramatically changed my appearance. She also joined the Mormon Church. It's been a tremendous comfort, she said, of her new religious affiliation. She was baptized in October and hopes to move to Salt Lake City to be closer to the church. I can't stay in this town, she said. There are too many reminders. Alicia said Alicia said her mother has always been a quiet, very shy, very naive, very fragile person. But she was a troubled woman. At the time of her disappearance, Lancaster said Alicia was taking medication for serious emotional problems. The young woman suffered an emotional breakdown on Mother's Day, 1993, and according to Lancaster, she was headed for another emotional breakdown. Prior to 1993 incident, however, Alicia led a fairly normal life. She attended Justin Siena High School for 3 years and graduated in 1990 from Vintage High. Her mom took her to Hawaii to celebrate her achievement. Alicia then studied art at Santa Rosa Community College for 2 years. She was planning to go to an art college in Berkeley, Lancaster said. The pride reflected in her eyes. She was really proud of her. Our relationship was very good, Lancaster said. We were talking about moving to Arizona. We lived together at the time. When Alicia disappeared, there was $900 in her checking account. It hasn't been touched. She wasn't carrying a wallet or an ATM card, a bulky police report states. Her last paycheck from a downtown gift shop where she worked part-time was never picked up. Alicia's parents have distributed thousands of posters around the western United States, especially in the first months after the disappearance. The flyers were posted at hospitals and truck stops in California, Washington, Oregon, Arizona, and Utah. The parents appeared together on Bay Area television in hopes someone would come forward with information. Where is it? There it is. The flyers have led to many potential leads, but none have panned out. One tip took Lancaster to Spokane, where a man said he spotted a woman matching Alicia's description in the emergency room of a hospital. He swore up and down she looked just like the poster, Lancaster said. He was very credible. But when she arrived in Spokane Hospital, officials said they had no record of such a woman. Another dead end originated in Prescott, Arizona, where a woman was spotted hanging out at Denny's restaurant. Lancaster said police contacted the woman, but it was not missing Alicia. A similar incident occurred at a hospital in Utah. It's amazing, she said. The pictures I've seen of women thought to be Alicia aren't even close. All right. Well, I mean, I think it's funny because that's something I would say. Like, you get these people that send you pictures. Oh, yeah, doesn't this look just like? And I just go, no, it doesn't look anything like them. Not even sure where your brain is at that point. Hey, thanks, Melinda Moda Maiden.
For at Caligal 3, Freak Mom support, heart, 2 hearts.
Are you still there, Caligal 3? Just want to make sure you're... Yeah, people just want to pretend that they're super sleuthy and notice things, and they're the ones that see some blurry image in the background of a photograph and pretend that it's something important. Well, thanks, Tosh. And yes, the rest of you too, if you feel like helping the channel, it would be absolutely amazing. I always feel bad when people like Scout and Dude and Tosh and kind of basically almost support the entire night's show, But thank you so much. Reading fee, and thank you for covering this case, and thanks for Caligal 3 for sharing with us. Yeah, I got, there's still a whole bunch more to go here, so we're just going to keep going. But it's going to make the dancing avocado again. Avocados. They're not for... I didn't make a rap about an avocado. Give me something that rhymes with avocado. A word. Absolutely none. Okay? Well, Dorado, kind of. Olivia Dorado? Not an avocado?
Reading fee, and thank you for covering this case, and thanks Caligal for sharing it with us.
Hey, thank you. Yee. Appreciate it. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without you guys. I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, just think about that. Over a 3-year period, 2020, 21, 22, and then we're 3 months into the 4th year. We've been able to give away $139,000, almost $140,000 to charity, while also my channel making an income at the same time and putting $50,000 into a DNA fund. You don't think that's pretty amazing? Yeah, you could. Let me get through the articles and stuff that I have, then call in. Is that cool? And then you can correct or debunk any of the crap that's in there. All right. Thank you, John Dunn. I've been busy tonight, but setting in for the rest of the show. Awesome. All right, here we go. Desperate to find her missing daughter, Lancaster worked with Vallejo psychic twice. Oh, come on. No, I understand when people are, you really want answers and there's nothing there. That's when you're able to do it. So she probably always was, whatever I would say psychic, she'd probably go, oh God, great, man. I've got a story for you. Another was contacted later, but neither provided any help.
Settling in for the rest of the show. I'm in for $5.
She hired a detective in Seattle who was unable to come up with any solid leads. A private detective from Napa quit the case because of a conflict of interest with other cases. Huh? I don't get it. She recently hired Benicia private investigator John F. Olson, a retired Napa County Sheriff's deputy, who said he will review police files early next week. Lancaster fears her daughter may have made friends with bad people hanging around several bars. No, she kept her clothes. Where did it say about the clothes? What are you talking about? Who? Where? I don't remember even reading that. I don't know what you mean. by the clothes part. Can we just, how about at the end, just call in and anything that you hear, just fix it. You don't have to send in super chats and everything every time. I mean, I appreciate it and everything, but, you know. Okay. I don't know what you mean by the, what you're saying, though. No, I can't stand psychics.
No,
Yeah.
she kept her clothes.
Oh, the psychic kept her clothes? Desperate to find her missing daughter, Lancaster worked with Leo Psychic twice in the first month. After Alicia vanished, another was contacted. Okay. She recently hired Benicia, private investigator. Lancaster fears her daughter may have made friends with bad people hanging around several bars, but is convinced the young woman did not leave voluntarily. She was too naive, she said. Lancaster and her ex-husband contacted officials from the Kevin Collins and Polly Klaas Missing Child Foundation. They were frustrated, however, to learn those organizations only deal with missing children, not adults. Lancaster said she intends to contact the nationally syndicated television show Unsolved Mysteries and hopes it will broadcast Alicia's story. Alicia's father said it's been a tough year emotionally. You just get incredibly hopeful when you hear of a possible sighting, he said, but his hopes have been lost too many times. Through the year, you get a little numb to it, he said. He found himself chasing shadows. Atrium, who lives in Fairfield, is the director of international business for a software company in Novato, not Nevada. He recalls seeing young women at some of the many international airports he goes through regularly in his work. You're sitting there, turn around and see somebody that looks like my daughter, run up and are disappointed each time. It's a very unpleasant experience, he said. But Atrium says he is hopeful and will keep looking. He said many people want to get involved, usually for the right reasons, but not always. Some people like to get involved, he said, like psychics. They raise our hopes occasionally, but inevitably that followed by the depression. He said he often drives or walks along the route his daughter would have taken from the Brown Street home of a friend to her mother's house. He doesn't know what he's looking for, but he hopes he'll see something that might provide a clue to her disappearance. Now, that's kind of sad, isn't it? Just driving that little distance and thinking there might be something, but, you know. We just like her to, I mean, let me ask you, though, what evidence is there that she actually was walking home from that friend's house? I mean, I don't know what the friend is like, but other than the friend saying, oh, she was here and then she left to go home. I mean, that friend must have some information. Unless it's a totally random person, you would think the friend would have something to add to the story. We'd just like her to let us know where she is, he said. I know there's a lot of love and caring between us, and she would do that in my heart. If she was able to get a hold of us, she would do that. So I have to believe that something has happened, and she's not able to contact us. Atrium said, however, we still look as long as it takes to find her or to find out what happened to her. We will never give up. He praised the Napa Police Department for its year-long effort. They've gone far and beyond what they had to. They've been diligent following up leads. Those leads have taken Detective Dan Lonergan on several dead-end Does your Oh, the friend has the clothes. What clothes? I mean, like the entire... What clothes she was wearing that night? I don't know what you mean by it. Well, just call in a little bit. On a trip On a tip, not on a tip. Those leads have taken Detective Dan Lonergan on several dead-end trips. He went to San Francisco nightclub where somebody thought she was a dancer. She was not there. One trip got Chicago authorities involved in the case, Lonergan said. Last November, a truck driver reported seeing an exotic dancer in Chicago area. He said it looked like Alicia, but police who investigated said it was not her. Lonergan, who has compiled a 3-inch thick binder on the case, said the most recent possible sighting was January 25th when police received a call from somebody who saw a woman who looked like Alicia at a truck stop on the Interstate 5 corridor near Tacoma, Washington. Law enforcement officers were unable to locate the woman who was seen. Lonergan is impressed with the distribution of flyers with photos of Alicia. You can't go anywhere in the Bay Area without seeing a picture of Alicia. I almost feel like I've seen her face before. I mean, on some website or an image. A missing person report is still in police computer across the nation. Anytime any agency tries to identify somebody who matches her description, her report will pop up. That was 1995, then 2001. Let me go to page 1. There it is. Missing Nappan's case similar to Levi disappeared. The cycle of high-profile missing person cases involving California seems endless. In recent years, Polyclass, the Yosemite hikers, and now missing Washington, D.C. intern Chandler Levi have dominated headlines. In those cases, particularly the Yosemite hikers who were eventually found to be brutally murdered, that keep Sharon Lancaster from wanting a conclusion to the more than 7-year-old investigation into her daughter's disappearance. So good for you for keeping out there and getting in the media as much as you could, at least early on there. It's there, in many years actually, from '94 all the way up until 2001. It's the Yosemite thing that's cemented in my mind. That's not supposed to know what happened to her, Lancaster said. Elisha Eittreim was declared missing in Napa in late February 1994. Since that time, little solid information has surfaced about what happened to her. A court reporter, Lancaster, said she fears that she will discover her daughter met the same gruesome end as the victims in Yosemite or those in cases she's documented at her job. Eittreim case reveals the frustration of police and family about some missing persons investigations. About 60 people are reported missing in an average year in the area, but the vast majority are soon found. The handful of remaining cases often prove difficult for police. 7 missing persons investigations are ongoing in Napa, dating from as far back as 1976 to as recently as last year. As the investigation into the disappearance of Levi passes the 100-day mark with no end in sight, the troubles with such investigation has received new national attention. Much like the Levi case, Eittreim's story provides a textbook example of the problems inherent in investigating cases that are either crimes but no crime scene exists, or involve a person who is declared missing but might not want to be found. The last time Lancaster spoke with the Register was in February of 1995, 1 year after her daughter's disappearance. Recounting the struggles of desperately trying to find clues and follow leads, she said at the time she was leaving the area, "I can't stay in this town There are too many reminders, she said. Lancaster moved back to Napa from Benicia last week. Let's see. Lancaster moved back to Napa from Benicia last week. She will move boxes of Atrium's belongings back with her, but said she can't bear to look through them. Atrium was last seen on February 27, 1994. She was 21 years old at the time, a vintage high school graduate who worked at a downtown Napa gift shop. Reflecting on the investigation, Lancaster said she now feels police didn't act quickly enough to pursue leads. You need to be on it in the first 3 or 4 days, she said. The last person to see Atrium was a man she had recently met on the bus, Lancaster said. The man came to the family home on the night Atrium disappeared and gave them some pieces of her clothing and other personal items, telling them she had left wearing his clothes. What? The last person to see Atrium was a man she had recently met on the bus, Lancaster said. The man came to the family home on the night Atrium disappeared and gave them some pieces of her clothing and other personal items, telling them she had left wearing his clothes. So was that at the friend's house that same night? And he just randomly shows up at your house the same night that she doesn't come home? I'm going to need an explanation. Just call in and talk about that when I get the number on the screen. Dan Longerin, now a youth division officer with Napa Police, was a detective with the department who was assigned to the case at the time. There wasn't much to it, Longerin said, of the lack of meaningful leads in the investigation. Longerin said the department extensively reviewed the man with whom she was last seen but came up with nothing. The man told police that the last time he saw Atrium was as she left his Brown Street home. Atrium was going to walk to her family's home on Patchett Street, he told police, planning to stop at an ATM. All right. The man told police, so this is the same guy, that the last time he saw Atrium was as she left his Brown Street home. So it's not a girl's house, it's a guy's home, a guy that she met on a bus. Okay. Atrium was going, I just assumed it was a girlfriend's house, I don't know why. So it was a guy's house, he lived on Brown Street, she met him on a bus, and he came by the house with clothes on the same night. But he says Atrium was going to walk to her family home on Patchett Street. He told police, planning to stop at an ATM and liquor store. Atrium's personal circumstances added to the difficulty of the investigation, Longerin said. It says she was bipolar and took lithium and Zolox to control her emotional instability, as well as a blackout drinker who was known to leave bars with strangers. It was easy to imagine a circumstance in which she went into a car with a person she didn't know very well, he said. But Lancaster now believes police didn't look into the most likely possibility that the man she was last seen with killed Atrium and threw her body in a dumpster. She said she recommended police bring body-sniffing dogs to the local dump, but police laughed at the suggestion. I just thought the police could be more diligent, she said. Mystery deepens. Longerin said police followed dozens of leads and interviewed everyone they could, but they received little solid information. We investigated this thing pretty thoroughly, he said. As the weeks went by without a break in the investigation, attention turned away from the area Flyers were distributed around the country through the Poly Class Foundation, posted up and down the West Coast and as far east as Chicago. Lundgren said calls poured in from those who saw flyers. Nothing ever panned out, he said. Sometimes the department would think it had a break that turned out to be nothing. At one point, a truck driver reported that in Chicago he received a lap dance from a stripper who was identical to the photos on the flyer, although she was 6'5", had red hair and freckles. I'm just kidding. You see, this is another one that probably looked nothing like her at all. The department went so far as to have Chicago police go to the club and photograph the dancers. And this does say she did look remarkably like Atrium. Lancaster said he also followed up on many leads on her own. She drove to Spokane, Washington, and Phoenix, Arizona, to pursue tips that never panned out. She said there were even rumors of devil worship in the area she thought might be connected to her daughter's disappearance. There were all kinds of rumors in the first year, she said. Lundgren said the problem was that police were never able to find any evidence of a crime scene. The department in 1996 used dogs at a Solano County site that it received a tip about, but came up with nothing. There was even a follow-up in the past several months in Sonoma County at a home of a family friend who recently died, but again, to no avail. Napa Police Sergeant Ron Algoer is recently assigned to the case. He described it as chasing shadows. Every time he interviews someone in association with the case, he said he gets new names of people who might possibly have information. Algoer said he hopes someone will now be more likely to come forward with all the time that has passed. A person who was in their early 20s at the time might be more willing to speak now that more than 7 years have passed and they've gained maturity, he said. Lundgren said Atrium is the kind of case that haunts law enforcement. We did all the things we should have done on this thing and weren't successful. Atrium's grandmother, Helen Kurtz, was the only one who initially reported her missing. When her phone rings late at night, Kurtz said she immediately thinks it might be her missing granddaughter. Helen Kurtz was the only one who initially reported her missing. There's no closure. I think one of the things I was talking to my dad about earlier today, my brother Andy, he's got to go get surgery on his shoulder now because he had something going on there. But he's one of those people that never wants to bring other people in or tell anybody what's going on or anything, because I think there's a finality to asking questions. Sometimes like you're admitting there's something wrong. So it's kind of hard. I think it's hard to, especially when it's an adult child, to report them as missing, because as soon as you do that, you've resigned in your own mind that something bad has happened, right? And as soon as you go in there, boom, now the balls. If you don't report them missing, you can sort of sit around and almost be sort of, ignorance is bliss type of thing, I guess, right? Like you don't know, they're probably just missing. But as soon as you report them missing, now there's a whole finality to it where it's a real thing now and you have to deal with it in that sense. So I think that's why a lot of times people wait. And with children, you never wait, like when they're 8, or 17, 18, 19, 20, maybe it's a little like, yeah, geez, especially if they had any sort of a history We did all these things we should have done on this thing and weren't successful. Eittreim's grandmother, Helen Kurtz, was the only one who initially reported her missing. When her phone rings late at night, Kurtz said she immediately thinks it might be her missing granddaughter. There's no closure, she said. I still think, is she alive? Does she need help? Lancaster said she's sure her daughter didn't just leave town because she was plagued by emotional problems. She didn't have the wherewithal to run away, she said. The entire ordeal is now stored away in her mind, she said, and she tries not to think about it. As time goes by, it gets easier, she said. Yeah. I mean, it is true, like, time makes things better, but you're always just, you never have this peace, really. That, some people might be able to do it, but let me see, does it start with the cycle? Okay, yeah, so here's the link. This one is from 2001. Is this the same one? Hold on. Let me just go back. Just want to make sure I'm not repeating myself. The cycle. Okay, yeah, it's the same one. Right. And then we've got the Charlie Project actually has her in there. Project says Atrium was last seen leaving her boyfriend's residence. Now it says 600 block of Brown Street in Napa, California at 9:30 p.m. February 27th, 1994. She was on her way to her own home on Patchett Street, and on the way she planned to stop at an ATM and Val's liquor store. Let's see where that is. Is that still there, you think? Or? Yeah, right there. Yeah, that makes sense. Friend's house, just boom. Okay. I mean, nobody knows that, though. See, the only way that somebody would know that she was going to go to Val's liquor store is because the boyfriend, with quotes around it, that she'd met on a bus, told people that. That's it. And there's a river right here. Does anybody think that he did something to her and maybe put her... And how do we even know it was 9:30? I mean, all of this stuff is just all from his mouth. There's the thing about, like, she's over at the boyfriend's house here. And, what time did he bring the clothing over to your house? Do you remember that? Well, let's get you on the phone here in a minute. Let me get the phone number up on the screen. So this is only for Cali Gal 3. Everybody else will hang up on. The trolls will always like to try, though. Yeah, I think the river might be where, sadly, that's what it seems like. No one saw Eittreim at the liquor store that night, and she didn't make any withdrawals from her account. She never arrived home and has never been heard from again. Eittreim graduated from Vintage High School and then studied art at community college for 2 years. She planned to transfer to the University of California at Berkeley. She worked at a gift shop in Napa at the time she went missing. She had a tendency to drink so heavily she blacked out and to come home from bars with strangers. She never used her bank account, which contained $900 in her Social Security number, after her disappearance, and she never cashed her last paycheck. Authorities believe she was murdered. Her case remains unsolved. I mean, that just sucks. I mean, I'm sorry you've had to go through all that. I mean, what a nightmare. Jesus. So why don't you call in if you want, and let's just sort of, you can tell us the stuff that you do know. The psychic shit I don't want to talk about, but... Can you guys not ask any questions in there until let her call in, because she seems like she'll be one that will just want to keep answering your questions. Thanks. Yes, Gummo. Yes, Colleen, especially you. Alright, let's see. Support Gray, and let's see. Anybody? Well, thank you, LM, on PayPal, and... Oh, thank you so much. Caligal3 on PayPal, thank you. And then Rhonda also got a notebook. All right, very cool. Do you see the number on there? Yes, thank you, PayPal supporters. Yes, you must be like an hour behind, Colleen. I made that comment like 2 minutes ago. Anyways, I'll be back in a second. I gotta get some water. I'm just waiting for her to call in. Somebody else that would call with 707. You there? Oh,
yes.
Oh, there you go. What do you want me to call you by?
Hi.
Caligal 3?
No, you can call me Sharon.
All right, Sharon. Well, why don't you tell us what were the parts that they were missing in there?
Okay. There was an apartment building right at that, I called it a Y, but it's not. It's like a junction of those three streets. It was right by the river.
Yeah, like there is kind of a
I
Y
was in
at
Ari-
Riverside, like Brown Street and Riverside, there is.
Yeah.
And then it runs into Division.
Right, so
yeah.
this guy that Alicia met on the bus named Dustin Snyder, I'm going to say his name, He lived in the very upstairs apartment. I think it was 3 levels, an old Victorian rundown building.
How do you spell his name?
They were
Dustin
Schneider, Dustin, Synder.
Wait, S8?
S-Y, Schneider. S-Y, Schneider.
Well, Schneider, that sounds like cinder or something. Where did you
Snyder.
get the sh sound?
Dustin Snyder.
Okay, S-N-I-D.
I don't think there's a C-H in it. Yeah, I don't think there's a C-H in it. Snyder. Snyder.
Oh, S-N-Y-D-E-R, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so when I went to the house the next day, I was in Arizona at the time. That's why my mom called and reported her missing. When I went to the house the next day, Dustin handed me her jeans, a necklace, her bra, and her tennis shoes.
And were those all the things she was probably wearing the same day?
He said that those were the things that she was wearing, but there was no top. So I'm thinking that there was either blood or something on it, and that's why he didn't keep that.
No, but why did he bring those over? Why did he bring those over to you, though?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I mean,
he came to the house. He rode his bike to the house that night and said that Alicia wasn't there. And I left the next day on an airplane to go to Arizona. So she was supposed to come home that night. He came to the house and said he couldn't find Alicia. I said, "What do you mean? She's supposed to be with you." He said she walked home, but he didn't say anything about her clothes.
No, but let me ask you something.
So,
but it doesn't even make any sense. So, oh yeah, she walked home, but she was naked when she went walking home.
No, she wore his. No, she put his jeans on.
That's what he claimed.
That's what he said. Exactly. He's lying.
Wow, so he probably had stuff on his jeans too. So he's explaining why those are missing. Yeah. You know? Wow. That's crazy.
Well, no, her body was never found. So whatever she had on, if it was his jeans, they're missing.
Well, no, but he can claim, he can claim the jeans that he was wearing, you know, that let's say had blood on them. He could just say, "Oh, the reason I don't have those jeans anymore are because she took them, and she's missing." Yeah, so there's everything's explained away.
She had his jeans.
It's a little bit like Alec Murdoch. He had his jeans. You know.
Well, but I asked him, "Did you guys have sex?" And he said, "No. They were just hanging out." But long story short, I think that she OD'd, and he didn't know what to do, and so he put her in the dumpster. And trash was picked up the next day or the day after that. Or he put her by the river. Some people think that he shallow buried her by the river, but it was just him alone. He also had mental problems. They met at a halfway pathway kind of place where they were both, he actually had a breakdown. He was schizophrenic, and I don't know if Alicia was schizophrenic, but she was pre-schizophrenic at the time. She was on medication. We didn't know what was wrong with her. Yeah, it's right. Yes, that is what you have on the screen right now. Is right where that apartment. See that the 2-story one? It's
right.
Kind of
this one.
Yeah, that's the building.
Okay, so let me just move it over to. I'll just move it over.
Anyway.
Let me move it over to.
Yeah, right in there. Yep, right in there.
Like right.
2-story.
Right there.
Not the one at the Y. No, not that one.
Okay.
That's a smaller building. Yeah, that's too big.
This one right
See
here.
where that weird the weird building that's right in the middle of the Y?
This one?
With the gray roof?
That one?
No, up north. Go north on the picture.
Well, you're way behind me on the screen. Let me just share my.
Oh.
Hold on a second. So in Zoom, can you see my screen now? In Zoom?
Yeah, that building. Okay, now go to the left.
Okay.
Go to the left from that weird building.
Okay, this is the weird building you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the weird building that you have your cursor on.
Yeah.
Yeah, go up, move up.
Mm-hmm.
Stay on the left-hand side. Yep, move up more.
Yeah.
Up. No, not that building. Oh, go over across the street. up.
All the way over here now?
Yeah, up. Go up, up. Right, see that? Okay, right in there where those trees are at the corner, it's that building, right? Yes, right behind all of those trees.
You mean this?
On the left, yeah, right where...
Wait.
No,
Like,
where you
okay,
were.
right where my cursor
Where
is right now, this hand. Where is it from
Yes.
there? Where is it from there?
Go back. You were on it.
I know, but we're...
No.
We're,
Go down.
Well, you're behind or something somehow. Just describe it on the screen, what you're looking at. See that little L-shaped building, this one? Where is it related to that building?
L-shape. You're in a parking lot right now, right?
Yeah, I just want you to explain on the screen. Don't worry about where my mouse is. I'm going to go like this. Where on the screen is it? Because it's on the screen right now, right? Somewhere.
I see your cursor. Yes, I do.
Yeah, don't worry about my cursor. Just look at the map of
Do you
the
see where
area.
the...
Yeah.
Do you see where the water is?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see where that one street looks like it's just going to drive right into the water? That's division.
Oh yeah, right there. Yep. Yep.
Okay, it's right in that corner. If
So-
you just
so
come
this
from
one
the
right
river,
there? That one?
cross the street.
That one?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Right in there. So anyway, I think she ended up in the dumpster. Or she was also hanging around this Arab-looking guy that kept bringing her little trinkets and jewelry, and she asked me one time if she could have her passport, and I said no.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, about a week before this, she came up and hugged me and said, "Mom, I think something's going to happen to me." And I said, "No, nothing's going to happen, Alicia. We're taking care of you. You're getting better." Anyway, either this happened with Dustin, or she got trafficked, which that's why I don't want to know. I don't want to know if that's what happened.
Yeah, but I mean,
You
the
know
thing
what
is
I'm
with this. I mean, don't the police find that suspicious that the guy that she's staying with, or the boyfriend, that bring over clothing that's her clothing?
Yes.
You know?
That's why they said that they investigated him. They found him. He showed up in Illinois a few years after this and had a psychotic break and kept saying her name. The problem is that his stepfather is a famous photographer. And Lonergan even told me, he said, we have to carefully step here. These are famous people. This is a tourist town. We have to make sure. We have to be positive. And there was just no proof. There was never any proof. And that stupid psychic kept her clothes. I sent those clothes off to that psychic, and she moved, and I never found her again. There would have been DNA on Alicia's jeans.
Oh man!
Yeah.
So sort of like what happened in that one case with the black girl who had her head cut off, and they had her blouse.
Yeah.
And then they sent the blouse off to a psychic, and for some unknown reason, I mean, listen, everybody, psychics suck. Okay, don't ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're like bloodsuckers.
They're the scum of the earth. Do not trust them.
Yeah.
No, that in the paper. It said that they found a wild boar's head. That was the first weird thing. Everybody was calling me saying, "Hey, they heard on the police scanner there's Alicia's head is in this dumpster by the grocery store." And I called Lonergan right away, and he goes, "Oh yeah, no, that was a wild boar's head." Mm-hmm. And he kept saying, "You have to remember, Sharon, this is a tourist town. We can't just keep putting all these things in the paper."
Yeah.
I never read that last article that you read, that really long one.
Uh-huh.
I had never read that article.
Oh, really? Yeah, it was pretty long.
Yeah.
It had all kinds of information in there.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, I think Zozo asked, did she normally walk home from this guy's house? Or take the bus?
No.
Or whatever? Or...
No.
Well,
she walked around. Yeah, she couldn't drive. She was on medication. I wouldn't let her drive. Mm-hmm. And yes, she was hanging out with wrong people. And I think when we were in Santa Rosa, she was going to college, she smoked some marijuana, you know how they say that young people's brains, sometimes marijuana, they can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
It'll trip them into psychosis. That's what happened to Alicia. She was completely normal until we went to Santa Rosa. And she started hanging around some artist-type people.
I mean,
and
drugs
doing
affect
drugs.
different people differently. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
I mean,
I appreciate you showing the story. I had
well,
no idea
you don't
about
have to thank
Charlie's
me.
project.
Jeez,
I
it's
didn't
great.
know anything about that.
Yeah, that's pretty. Well, you want me to send you all the same links that I just used tonight, or?
No, I have all of that stuff, and
Oh, okay. I mean, I
I
can
still
just
have
send you
not
the,
gone
like
through her things.
the PDF. No, the links for the show, the ones that you hadn't seen, I could send it to you.
Oh, yeah, sure, of course. No, I plan on saving this link, definitely. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, so
You know, it's been, over 30 years? She would be 50 now.
how old was this Dustin guy at the time?
He was about a year older, 2 or 3 years
So he'd
older.
be like
But he was
53, maybe?
Yeah. Yep, I don't even know if he's still alive. The other thing was his grandparents were, they had a grocery store in town, Kohbergers, very well-known family. So, yep.
I'm just looking at this, trying to see if I can find him in Ben Verified. There's a 53-year-old.
Dustin?
Yeah. I don't know what his middle name is.
Yeah, and his grandparents lived in Vallejo, and he had relatives in Napa. And his stepfather, who was famous, their last name was Rosenthal.
Yeah, I don't
I think it was Richard Rosenthal, maybe. I don't know if he's still a photographer or not. But, you know, it's too late. I can't prove it.
God,
I can't
mean,
prove
that
it,
just
yeah.
seems so damning, though. That the boyfriend, so it was the next day.
He wasn't a boyfriend.
Well, that's what they called her. Whatever he was, she went and visited him, right? So
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
probably some guy that maybe she might not even liked very much or whatever, but had something, maybe drugs or something she wanted or something. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So however you look at it, what day did he come over to your house?
He came over to my house that night he came in. I was watching a movie with my girlfriend. Alicia was supposed to come and watch it with us, and she didn't come. So he shows up at the door around 10 or 11, knocking on the door saying, "Is Alicia here?" You know, just very suspicious. I never did trust him. I took him to the psychic, too. I took him with me, you know, and his mother was livid at me because I wanted to stay close to him. I wanted to find out more, and he just never broke.
I mean, I just think the very same night that she doesn't come home. So,
Yes.
What were you guys doing? You were just sitting at home, and then
I was flying. We were watching the movie, The Fountainhead. I was going to fly out the next day to Prescott, Arizona to look at some land.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to leave on the plane. And so, you know, I'm hearing from my mom, Alicia's not coming home. Alicia didn't come home. And I'm freaking out. Yeah.
So, when you say The Fountain, is that a movie or?
The Fountainhead? Yeah.
Never heard of the movie Fountainhead.
Ayn Rand? Ayn Rand, or whatever her name is.
I know the
Ayn
name,
Rand?
but I've never seen the movie. Is it good?
Yeah. I think so.
Might have to check it out. So, anyways, you're sitting at home watching a movie on the same night. And what time was it that he came over there?
Well, they're saying in all those articles that she left the house at 9:30.
Yeah, that's what I'm
didn't
saying.
Know what
I want to
time
know.
she left.
I want to know what time he came
Yeah.
to your house.
Yeah, it was around 9:30 or 10. So I guess they're getting that from me. I don't know. He never told me what time she left. I'm just going by what time he showed up at my house.
And how did he get there? You just sort of, he walked.
He rode his bike.
12 miles. So
No,
he rode a bike.
He rode a bike.
And he had the clothes in a backpack.
No, when I got back from Arizona, I went to that apartment, and I went in. I did not go in, and that's the other thing. I asked Lonergan. I said, "Please, did you guys go in and spray luminol and all of that?" You know, "Oh yes, sure, we did that." I don't believe they ever did.
Well,
really
let me ask you
don't.
this. So when he went to your house, though, what did he just went there to do what? The first night?
Asked me if Alicia was, he said, is Alicia here? I said, no, she's with you. She's supposed to be with you. And he said, well, she left the house. I was wondering if she showed up.
Oh, I see. So that
But
first
I don't
night
believe it.
isn't when he brought the clothing. He came to your house the first
No.
night. Then the next day
Yes,
you
I
went
went
over.
and got the clothing when I came back home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I got back from Arizona, that's the first place I went was his house. And he came down the stairs. He didn't let me knock on the door or anything. He came down the stairs holding this stuff. And I felt like I was kicked in the gut.
Because that one article
I knew
says
then.
that he brought him over to your house. I thought.
No, he did not bring them over. There's a lot of things that weren't right in that article.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he did not bring them over. I was with my mother when we went to that house.
So let's see. You.
Yeah.
Huh. I'm just trying to. So you went over to his apartment. Was there anything in there that made you kind of like, whoa?
I didn't go up. I didn't go up. He was up, he was up the stairs, and as soon as I pulled up, he must have been watching because he came running down the stairs with her stuff. I didn't even know that he had her stuff. He didn't tell me anything that night. So by the time I get there a day later, it was on the weekend, I think, he comes running down the stairs with her stuff, and I'm like, what are you doing with her things? Her necklace, her
Yeah.
bra, her shoes. What are you doing with this stuff? Well, she left it here.
Yeah, but seeing that, then it's like, okay, well, when she was here, she must have been somewhat nude at some point, right?
No,
I mean,
he said.
but that's
Yes.
the reality of it. I mean, the reality
Yes,
is
you're
at
right.
some point
You're
she
right.
must have been
Yeah.
somewhat nude, but he claims she put on his clothes and left
To walk
hers there. Yeah, to walk home. That just doesn't make any
Well,
sense.
he was twice the size. She weighed 118 pounds. He was at least 140 pounds.
You mean
He was
240?
a big kid.
240? You mean, or?
No, not 240.
Well, you said almost double, right?
140.
So he barely weighed more
Well-
than she did then, right?
No, he was a kid. He was, probably 6 feet. I'm sure he weighed at least 150 or 160.
I bet it's more than
I don't
that.
know what.
I
You
mean,
think it's more than that?
yeah, I
Whatever.
mean, I think
I
it's
know
probably
those
more like
jeans would have
180.
been falling off of her.
yeah, like
The
one.
jeans would have been falling off of her.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Plus, wouldn't she know that you'd be suspicious if she came home wearing
Of
a
course.
guy's clothes? Yeah.
Of course.
And would she
Yeah.
has she ever done that before? Came home with guys' clothes
No.
on?
No.
Yeah.
She had
So-
never stayed overnight anywhere before. Never.
That's weird.
In Santa Rosa, she would stay over at a friend's house, but no, she never did it when we came back to Napa.
Yeah. Well, somebody,
anyway.
Colleen asked, why would she remove her necklace?
Exactly. I know. Why would she do that? And her watch.
And also, why would
Why would
he
she
do
take
that?
her watch off?
Yeah, but why would he
And
do
why
that
would
too if he's handing it back to you?
Exactly. That's what I don't get. I think he was just so panicked that he thought, well, if I give her this stuff, she'll think that Alicia. I don't know what he was thinking, but yeah, no, I don't. If something happened and you wanted to cover it up, you'd think he wouldn't have given me that stuff, but he did. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I bet for a long time it was just like this. Like I always say, that huge weight, right, where you're just sort of like every day. You just have a huge weight on your. Well, maybe you can describe it.
The
to
turning
people.
point. The turning point was Yosemite. Those murders, finding them in the trunk. When I heard that, I knew that if I ever heard a story, that's why I don't want. If she got trafficked, I don't want to know because my mind will just be obsessed with it. I won't be able to get it out the picture out of my head. I can at least that's why I can remember her. The last few nights that we had together, the last dinner that we had, I can remember those things, but I don't want to remember her being burned in a trunk.
Yeah. That was,
No.
Yeah, so that was only like a year after, right?
Yes, that was a year after.
So, well, in some
And then
way,
the
it's sort of a
smart girl,
fortunate. It was sort of
Yeah,
a fortunate
no, that was
thing.
horrific.
Even though it was horrific, it was somewhat fortunate for your psyche in a way, because you realized you didn't
Yes.
want to know the answer.
Right.
Because if it was something like that, it would be, yeah. Huh. Interesting.
You know, the people say, "Will you get closure?" Sure. If they found her body, then I would have closure. But if I just never get her body and I just hear, you know, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. One night, in the same year, it was really raining. It was raining like it's raining right now, and there was flood. Napa River was flooding. It flooded all the time. And I got in the car and I drove down by the river and I sat there and I could feel her. I don't know what it was. I just started crying. I could really, really feel her. And then I found out later one of her friends said that the story around town with her friends was that she OD'd. Dustin freaked. He put her by the river and the river washed her away. And she was never
Seems
found
like somebody
again.
would have found her in the water at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
But if she OD'd, why was her... I don't know, just the whole necklace, all that stuff seems odd to me. Like, what was
Yes,
going
I
on?
agree.
Like, she OD'd just randomly, but then didn't have her necklace on, and things like that. I don't know.
Yeah, like if she threw up and stuff on her, why take that stuff off of her? I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Man.
It's
Is it still
total
even
mystery.
active? Well, it sucks because there isn't a
No.
lot of information on...
No,
case.
Lonergan's long retired. I don't know if I could get that binder. I always wondered if I could get that binder.
No, I'm sure you could.
It's probably... You think so?
Yeah, why can't you? Why don't you call over there and say, hey, can you... Yeah, just give it a shot. I think it'd be cool. I'd go over it with you. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe we can go over it and
Yeah.
see what we could find if you wanted to. But
Absolutely.
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, I know all the freaks, are feeling bad that you've
Yeah, I
had to go
appreciate it. Yeah, no, I know. I appreciate them, their love. I can feel it.
through. Yeah, man. It's so... Oh, there's Chewbacca. Look at that.
I'll be back if you want me.
Yeah.
Late feet.
Yeah,
Smiley
but
face.
it's weird. I wonder how many freaks actually have these kind of bad things going on in the background. So if you're out there and you're a freak and you have something like that, or even if you're not, just let me know.
I
What
don't
else?
give money to any other YouTube channel, Gray. Only yours. I can
No.
see your soul is a kind, good soul, and the charities that you send to. That's the reason why I send money.
Well, cool.
Because
yeah.
it can help other people.
Yeah, I mean, you
you know,
guys
it'll help
definitely you guys support me, and then I try to donate over 50% of the net revenue from YouTube to charities, and that's just what I decided to do. I mean, I could just go, oh yay, I'm going to keep it all, but I mean, I like being
Yeah.
able to do stuff. Like it makes
You're
me feel
making a
good.
difference.
Yeah, it's the only way to have your channel actually make a difference is if you are
Exactly.
literally solving cases, or you're supporting good causes and charities, and we do both actually. We solve. We have paid for the solving of. Well, hell, we've got like 6 of them in the works. 2 have been solved using the DNA, and then we also support tremendously charities like Texas EquiSearch, RAIN, and National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and we're going to be sending some more into the Wounded Warriors too, for Scouting Dude's honor up there. It's not really a true crime thing, but to me, they're part of the, it's sort of like law enforcement, military, people that are serving,
Yeah.
the country basically by doing things. And those guys have gone through hell, the people that Wounded Warriors support. So I think what about like Tunnel to Tower seems like a pretty cool one too, I've seen. You ever heard of that one where they build
No, I haven't
homes?
heard of that one. I support the canines, the canine rescues.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So what have you been doing? Is there there's like no activity whatsoever on this case?
No. No, I never got it on Unsolved Mysteries or anything.
Yeah, well, I can see the thing is Unsolved Mystery needs more information to make a story or a segment. You know,
Right.
this didn't really.
Exactly.
It's just your part.
And they can't put
interesting.
Dustin's name on there. You know, I suspect Dustin, but you can't do that. I could get sued.
Yeah, well, I mean, you just said his name on here.
Well, hey, maybe somebody knows them.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I just think it's an odd situation where you went
You
into.
bet it is.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It was 1994. She was 22. She was of age.
Mm-hmm.
And she was on medication. So it's kind of like, fall through the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're just, it's just speculation. Like, it just seems really odd that he comes over to your house wondering where she is, and the next day you go over there, and then all of a sudden he has all this clothing. I mean, I guess it's possible, given the state that you thought she was in, that maybe they were. But then you asked her, did you guys have sex? And he said no. So why does he have her clothes? And then how come he doesn't? And then why does he know that he saw her leaving? Oh yeah, that's right, because he was wearing his clothes. But why did he take her clothes off? And
He said she wanted to take a shower. Believe me, I questioned him on that. He said she wanted to take a shower. I asked him, were you guys doing drugs? And he said no. Of course he's going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. So, well, can you remember, before you leave, more of the conversation you had?
With Dustin?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to see if I could get some, like a vibe from him. I took him to the psychic in Vallejo. He rode in the car with me. I had a couple of meetings with him, and his mother came and stopped us meeting one time. And she just, I had him in the car, and she came up to the car and she said, Dustin, get out of there. Come home right now. You're coming with me. So she was freaked out about it too. I think she suspected that he probably did something.
What was his behavior
He was on
like? Oh, go ahead. He was on what? Go ahead.
He was on this is schizophrenic medication. It starts with an R,
Oh, okay.
like not Risperdal or something like
Yeah.
that.
Well, did he?
It's a heavy medication.
Yeah. So okay. I mean, when
he seemed.
when you were hanging out with him, did you seem somewhat normal, or?
He seemed spacey. He seemed, like not all there.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't seem animated at all. He seemed like he was on some kind of medication.
And the
But
clothing.
I just wanted to see if I could believe him.
I
And
mean, you said
I
earlier,
didn't
but
believe
the
him.
clothes that she handed you were the clothes she was wearing when she went over there that night, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you wanted to be with him to see if you could believe him. How did he seem when he came over the first night, when he was asking?
He seemed weird. I didn't even open the screen. I opened the door. There was a screen door there. I said, "What are you doing, Dustin? What are you doing here? Where's Alicia?" "Oh, I thought she'd be here. She said she was walking over here." I said, "How did you get here?" He said, "I rode my bike." I said, "Well, you didn't see her on the way over here? If you say she's walking over here?" He said, "No, I didn't see her. That's why I came to see where she was." So
No, but
baloney.
but also ask yourself this. He said that she was. Didn't he say that she was heading home, but was going to stop by an ATM?
That I don't know where that came from. I guess that came from him. He never said that to me.
Because
I
at
don't
that
remember
point,
him
why would
ever
he?
saying that to
Because
me.
if that's true, why would he go to your house to see where she was? He would just assume she was
Exactly.
at your house, right?
Yeah. No, I never. That part about the ATM or valve flickers, that came from Dustin.
Well, I wonder
do not
if he
remember
thought that she was leaving to go to an ATM to buy liquor to bring back to his house, because 9:30 is kind of early, don't you think? So it might have. Let's say it was 8:00. He might think that she left to go to an ATM and then a liquor store and was supposed to be back at his place. Let's just say, I'm just throwing out another alternative answer.
Yeah, that could be.
And
No, I hear you.
And then when she didn't show up at, 9, she leaves at 8 o'clock and it's way longer than it should have been just to go get some money and go to a liquor store and come back. So then he goes over to your house to see where she was, and maybe she really was just wearing his clothing because she's not going to be going home yet. She's going to be going back to his house, and wouldn't be that weird.
That could be.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I could buy that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of but if that's the truth, then so that whole thing about overdosing. Well, I mean, he's over at your place at 9:30. It's weird because where was she then?
The overdosing came from rumors from friends of hers and friends of Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
That was what happened.
Well, did you ask him why he didn't go with her to the ATM and liquor store?
I don't remember. I didn't know that. He never said that she was going to Val's Liquors. Never said that.
Oh.
That came from him. So whatever, I guess, I don't know. Maybe Lonergan said that.
I mean, there's just elements that the thing that make the story, the version I just told you, kind of makes the elements work. If you say she's over at the house and they're partying, doing whatever, I'm sure there was sexual activity since she has his clothing, and somehow there was something, and she's over there, and then she goes, "Hey, I'll go get some more. I'll get some liquor and." Gotta go to ATM,
okay,
get
so
some
what
liquor.
happened to her, though?
Well, that's the part that nobody knows, right? Because then
that's true.
Yeah, because then let's say she disappeared on that walk and never came back from the liquor store or the ATM, and then it's like somebody else did. So then it's like one of those crazy cases where a random person abducted her. But it would be kind of early in the night, right? I mean, there's people walking around at 9:30.
Yeah. And what'd they do with the body?
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
That's the problem when you don't have a body. It's just all a mystery. But you're right. That could have happened. To me, the streets of Napa there's not a whole lot of people walking around. There is now because of the tourism has gotten way bigger. But then on those streets, nah, there was not people walking around at night. I can't remember if it was a Friday night or Saturday night. We'll have to look in the calendar. But
oh, I'd be interested to
I
talk
know
to
the
that
ATM
guy.
thing that must have come from Dustin. He said that's why she left.
Did you ever try to talk to him over after that at all, or was he not allowed to, or what?
No, I talked to him.
I mean.
Just acted like he didn't know either. That she said she was walking home. I don't know what happened to her. She said she was just walking home.
Well, if she was walking home, then why would he have gone to your house to see where she was? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, if that's a true thing, I'd love to hear what his story is.
Yeah. I don't remember him coming to the door and saying, "Did Alicia get here?" Or she was going to go to the liquor store. He wouldn't have told me that, number one. And she was supposed to be coming home to watch a movie. And we were starting to watch the movie at around 8. So I didn't even know she was over at his house. We were all three of us, my girlfriend and Alicia. Alicia wanted to see the Fountainhead. We had made a date to watch that movie, and she never made it.
See, that seems to me almost like
to be at my house.
Setting up an alibi where you something happens earlier. Let's say something happened at 7 o'clock to your daughter, and then he goes over there to say, "Have you seen her?" to make it seem like he's also trying to find. That's a total alibi situation. I mean, it could be a true situation, but the way you just explained that, like she was supposed to be home at 8 to watch the movie, I think that adds to the likelihood of that being an alibi trip to your house.
And the gift shop that she worked in was maybe 3 blocks from the Patchett house. It was at Embassy Suites, and it was about 3 blocks from Embassy Suites, and she would walk from her little job there to home.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. So she was supposed to watch the movie with you at 8. See, that makes a little factoid of the story that changes the complexion a little bit. Don't you guys think? Because if she was supposed to be home at 8, that means if something happened to her, let's say 7:30, and then he drives over, have you seen her? I'm missing her too. I can't find her as well, but you also have all of her clothing at your house and necklace and things.
Do you see the picture that's on the screen right now, up in the left-hand corner?
Yeah.
Right underneath the word passcode. That apartment was right there behind those trees. Look at how close it is to the river. Right across the street.
You mean, where does it say passcode? I don't see that.
You're up on the top of the screen where it has passcode, the numbers to call in.
Oh, you're looking at that screen. I shared one on Zoom. I thought you were looking at that one. Okay, so like right over here, over here?
Yeah, see where the yellow car is up in the left-hand corner, right under the word passcode? To the right?
A yellow car? Right over here?
Yes, right there, where the hand is.
Okay, right here.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Look at how close it is to the river.
So what is this
That's
place?
the building.
What is this place?
What place?
Well, right here was the building you said he lived in, right? This one?
Oh, you're right. You're right. It's that yellow, the two-story. Yep. See, it looks like a Victorian right there.
Yeah, it's this house right. This one right here,
building.
right? This one, right? The one on the screen. Just look at that right there.
No, not that one. That's a store.
Okay. So, oh my God, I've had it on that the whole time. All right, hold on. Let's do this again. Okay.
Sorry.
All right, so now I'm going to pause the screen, and where is it on here?
Okay. You see where the purple roof is? The purple on top of that roof?
Over here?
Yes, right where you have the pin. That's
right where I have the pin.
Well, down a little bit more towards the cars, where the cars are parked.
Like this?
See, there's trees there now. I don't think there was trees.
Like that?
Where you have the pin, if you go towards where you have the pin?
Yeah.
Yeah, move it up. Move it up.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Where the black car is right, I think if you look on Street View, you'll see that house right there.
How about if I go down to Street View and you tell me which way to go? Is that better?
No, you were right there.
Okay, but I am down here. So which way to go? Which way?
Sitting here pointing at the TV.
Where do I go from here?
Can't you see my finger? Okay. Go up. Stop.
Yeah.
See that yellow building that's right there in the point?
Oh, right here.
No,
right
no,
here.
wrong way.
I know, you're behind me. So this one right here, this building? A Victorian has
go
like
left.
Yeah, you'll see.
Go left. Left. Go to your left. Yep. That yellow.
Oh, right there.
The yellow building. Yeah, right there. Yep, that's the apartment right there where you just circled.
Oh, okay, right here it's like on a corner, on a Y. The one that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on a Y. Yep. Not that building, but that building is there. You know, it's in a bad section of town. There's a lot of...
All right. I'm going to do one last time.
Down there.
It's this building right here, right?
Wait, no,
just wait, because you're behind. I'm pausing the screen. It's like 5:38 something. This building right here. You can't see what.
No. It's across the street from that building.
Okay, this
across
one.
The street.
Okay, then it's this tall building here, that's really old looking. This one right here.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go with that.
No, is it this one right here? I'm turning around.
No, that's not it. It's on the other side of the street.
I just went to the other side of the street. I just turned around.
There.
Look at.
Right.
Okay, so it was the one. Okay, that's what I'm saying. All right.
Right there.
It's right here.
With the little yellow picket fence.
Okay, yeah.
Picket fence, white car.
Yeah, you're just so far behind. I shared it with you on Zoom so that you could watch it live, but you're 30 seconds behind. So now I have it at the right house, right?
Yes, right there.
Okay. People are screaming. They're going, ah.
I'm looking at it on Zoom, though.
Okay, so
I'm
it
watching
wasn't
on
this
Zoom
one
on
over
my
here.
TV.
Yeah, but you're 30 seconds behind on your television.
Oh, okay.
See, the thing is on the Zoom that's on your phone or however you called, you just dialed the numbers.
No, I'm calling on the phone,
Yeah.
and I'm watching it on Zoom.
Or you're watching it on YouTube, and it shows, because the only reason you see the meeting ID and stuff, because that's what you see on YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got, you
watching it
can
on
see that's a sort of a better representation of, so it was this house, and he was in that one. And
Well, it only took 2 hours.
yeah, wow. Wasn't even close to, well, it's kind of close to where this building is, but not really. Awesome. Anything else, you guys? Let's see. Somebody said, somebody said, why not get rid of her clothes if she did do something to her? That's
Exactly. I know.
that's
Why
the thing.
not just
Some of the stuff he's did was sort of not suspicious, but it is suspicious that he came over to your house. She was supposed to make it to a movie. She doesn't make it to a movie, but he felt concerned enough that she didn't make it home for some reason, because he must have either thought she was supposed to come back to his place, or he has knowledge that something happened to her and went to your house just to sort of, well, it couldn't have been him. He was looking for her too. Sort of an alibi thing,
right.
Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I appreciate you coming on. And
Well, I appreciate your help with it. It's a mystery, that's for sure. But she was a dear person, and I loved her dearly. I love her dearly still, and at least I had her for 22 years. But
well, my brother, my brother died at 22, so my mom has the same. Had the same 22.
It changes you. It changes your person. I was a different person back then.
Yeah. What do you think
before
was
this
different
happened
about you? Just a little more carefree.
There's just a sadness. Just an innate. Something's missing. There'll always be something missing. You know. It's any parent who's lost a child. There's always going to be something missing. You can see it. You can feel it. Especially if it's your only child. If you have other children, maybe it's easier. I don't know. I doubt it, but
it's sort of weird. And remember, the Idaho 4 case with Gonzalez, the dad.
Yeah.
You can tell, looking at the stuff, how he was just such a happy, fun sort of dad with his daughter, and now you can just see he's never going to be the same. He's going to have an edge to him all the time.
All those parents will never be the same.
No, all of them. But
it's even worse for them because with all the media, I had a few articles in the newspaper scattered here and there. I can't even imagine what they're going through with all of it just all constantly around them. Yeah.
Does anybody have any last questions in there randomly? You can type them in. Man, I would love to talk to that guy. Just to sort of...
Well, I'd love for you to search for him. I'd love for you to do some searching for him, really.
Yeah, I see a bunch
he's
of people
either
with his
dead
name.
or he's in a psych hospital somewhere.
Okay, I'll try to look for him.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much again.
Well, hey, thank you very much, and I appreciate you supporting my channel, and it's always nice having you.
Always.
Chatting and hanging out with the freaks.
I'm part of the freak family.
That's right.
Very proud.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. And I'm sorry you've had to go through this.
Good night.
All right. Have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Record.
Yeah. Cali Gal 3. Yeah, and if you're out there, Cali Gal 3, you should try to get that file that we were just talking about. I think that'd be really interesting to go through and see if we can get the actual details of what police got when they interviewed the same guy. I think that'd be pretty good. Oh shoot, these need to be moved. Oh, oops. All right. There we go. Got the folder built up. Another weird one, you guys. Somebody just vanishes off the face of the earth. And sorry you had to go through that, Cali Gal 3. And, you know, you have a place to hang out with the freaks anyways. And I can guarantee it, that same story we just went over, you'd never see one of the I only do the popular cases always channels ever covering that one. But if you listen to them, they're interesting in their own way, and they all deserve to be talked about. I think 19 I thought was Cassandra, and 21 or 22, I think 22 was Alicia. I mean, sometimes I get stuck on a case for a while, but I definitely get off of them at some point and try to mix things up even during those. But so I think that's gonna about do it for me tonight, you guys. And what another lucky night, where if there wasn't for basically two different people, that would have been one of the worst nights we ever had. But thanks to everybody else too that helped out. That was awesome. Yeah, we're always. I mean, the thing is, I do sometimes when I'm covering different cases, I feel bad when I don't get to do something else. But I don't know. For example, the like we've covered the Murdoch case for Alec Murdoch since the beginning. So for me, I felt like I needed to keep covering it. Just like if Lori and Chad was on, the trial was in court and everybody could watch, I would cover it every single day, no matter what. Because we've covered that since the beginning. And we covered the Murdoch case since the beginning. But you have all these Johnny-come-latelys who never even give the case a second thought until it went to trial. And, ooh, they're these experts, you know. And it's just, that's the kind of thing that drives me crazy on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah? What do you mean? What's old stuff? I'm actually working on my own video for the Alec Murdoch. I want to do my... I have a name for it and everything. Might take me a while. Yeah, that was pretty interesting, yeah. Alright, so thank you to Julia Morales, Cali Gal 3, K Me, Scouting Dude, with the double cat eye. Rhea Mazzarone. Sarah Emerald became a new member. Cali Gal 3 again. Marie Crossley. Philip Harless, a new member. Eugenie. Dan Hodemaker. Let's see. Tosh. Matthew Ludovico. Tosh again. Kathy Friedmaker. Scott Holland. Scouting Dude. Another cat eye there. D Smiles. Caligal 3, Caligal 3, Caligal 3, Melinda Motimaiden, and then Tosh, Cat Eye, Yee, D Smiles, Caligal 3, John Dunn, Caligal 3, Claudia Neubauer, and Not Your Average Chick, who also had her mother's case on here the other day. Remember the teacher that was stabbed in Hawaii. So thank you there, and then also thank you on PayPal to LM, Caligal 3 or Sharon, and Rhonda on who ordered a notebook. All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Tonight's show is 2 hours and 49 minutes. Not quite the 3, but we've got some little leeway because we did so many 5 and almost 6 hour shows for a while. It was crazy. Oh, good. I'm glad it felt good to talk about it. Cali Gal 3. Yeah. So what we'll be covering tomorrow, I have no idea. Believe it or not, I just get up in the morning and I start looking around and I find little... I think the last 3 nights in a row I've had really interesting cold cases that we've never heard of, and they're just incredibly interesting. Even tonight's, like... They're just, this case right here is interesting. It gives you some nuggets to work with, but you don't have enough there. The guy's behavior is contradictory to itself. On the one hand, why would he be bringing, handing over clothing? I wonder if he just brought it down because he knew you were going to come up and you might have seen it up there and it would have been bad, so he brought the clothing down. He may not have intentionally wanted to give you the clothing since it was just the next day, so he still had him on hand, and he wasn't really sure what to do and just made sort of a weird strategical move by handing you that stuff. Very, just weird. Although the fact that she was supposed to be home by 8 to watch the, Alicia was supposed to be home by 8 to watch the movie. It's a little weird then. It's almost like, I gotta go watch the movie, and something happened. And then he goes over there as an alibi to say, hey, where is she? And then, well, I don't know. It's just a weird story. Weird one. Would need to talk to the guy to actually know. But anyways, thank you guys very much. I really appreciate you guys being here. And when I say guys, it's everybody, right? There's no gender associated with guys. Okay, I just want to make sure. I hope I didn't trigger anybody by saying guys. I know a lot of you are women. And wait, I shouldn't say one. I should say. Well, if I said female, that would. God, I don't even know what to say anymore. You things. Thank you, things, for being here. Things. That's what I'm going to call all of you now. Things. Yeah, it didn't sound like they did it. That's right, Scott. That's right. Yes. Anyways, thank you, things, for being here. Freaks. Freaks. That's it. I appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. And I got to do the spin. I was just going to... I don't think we made it into the spin mode. Well, maybe that put us just into the spin mode. Right there. Just maybe. Alright, so we're going to do a notebook spin now. Here we go. And here comes the spin. Get the music playing. Thank you, Lisa Wilkerson. All right, here it comes. Marie Crossley. Awesome. Oh yeah, and I'll put the PayPal spins in for tomorrow. All right. Well, there you go, everybody. There you go. Another day done. Blue and Chloe, I have no idea where they're actually laying together in their little bed over here. Pretty funny. Those little guys. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Freaks. We'll see freaks tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for a while now. And during this whole time,
that's what I said.
I have not seen
That's
one
what I said.
person.
I know you said it. I want to say it too.
But why did you say it if I already said it?
Because I wanted to say it, Greg.
I'm a
Jesus.
certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya.
You sound like Zozo.
If you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Greg is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector. And I'm always gonna be a protector. Fool deflector, interceptor.
Glory, 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 glory.
Just remember I'm a temple fucking checker. I have no agenda. I'm no pretender. And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender.
And in the end, I'm gonna send you
on a mission to reveal the true offender.
Good night,
So I'll
everybody.
just get right back to work. All right, everybody. Talk to you later.
And thanks for sharing your story, Cali Gal 3. I know it's probably not easy. Hopefully maybe someday you'll get some answers. You know, you never know. All right. So thanks again for everybody being here, and be safe out there.
Good night, everybody. I wish I could have said more. I know I'm more interesting.
Yeah, you really are.
What are you whistling for, Greg?
Well, because you're really not very interesting at all, Mary Lou. They like to hear you rap every once in a while.
Gosh, Greg, that's so mean. Oh, God, that's so mean. That's a big cry. Oh, God, oh, God.
Are you okay, Mary? Are you okay, Mary Lou? Wow, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't make you feel bad.
No, you really didn't, Greg. Good night, everybody.
Oh, she got me again. She got me again.